Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Ryan Ellis, the driver of the number 44 for Loco Chevrolet for Alpha Prime Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. How's it going?
Going pretty good, man. How about you?
Doing well. So talk about getting that big finish for you, your best career finish ever in the Xfinity Series in 13th last week at Las Vegas. What was it like to climb up the big ladder? Because I've known you've been in and out of the car doing a bunch of stuff. So what's it been like to kind of like reach the top of the mountain?
It was it felt like an out of body experience. It felt like I was watching somebody else's race, in a lot of ways, because I mean this like a no negative way towards the teams I have driven, because it's just the difference between like a lower budgeted team and a mid budgeted team. There's people think of like cup teams and everybody else is an underfunded team. There's so many different tiers of team in terms of budget and like what they're able to do, and it's the best opportunity I've ever had in my life because of that. We're the mid-tiered team. We have a little bit more budget than we did in the past with other teams. We have a really, really good motor program, so we were able to go out there and race with some cup teams and beat some cup teams, and it was so freaking cool. It was the most fun I've ever had in a race car, that's for sure.
Yeah. So how did you end up meeting the Four Loco people?
Yeah, I actually met them through my marketing person, Sarah Handy, who a lot of people know in the industry. She did a cold outreach and got a hold of them, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And obviously it was so freaking cool because the car, the design, the colors, everything was so cool to be a part of. And it was ironically owned by and started by three guys that were in my fraternity. I think they created Four Loco in college, and I don't think any of us knew that until like after the deal was already done.
Yeah. So these were fraternity guys that you were in with?
Yeah, they were not like my year. They weren't at my college or anything like that, but in the same fraternity nationally.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So, of course, you get an extra race at Phoenix and all that, kind of continuing the good momentum this week. Where do you think this Alpha Prime team is at right now? Because, Tommy Joe and Caesar have done a lot of things and put a lot of drivers in the car. Of course, you and Kaz will be back in the car this week. What's that going to be like? And what's it like to have all these drivers come in the cars this year?
It's nothing new to me, just because of the teams I've driven for typically switch drivers so often. Like last year we had Matt Mills, Stephen Parsons, amongst like probably 5 or 10 other guys at BJ's. So it's really cool to be able to work with those young guys, and it's weird to be on the older half of the roster, that's for sure, because you think of the older guys on the team, and it's pretty much me, Tommy, Caesar. Everybody else is a lot younger than us, but I try to be like that veteran presence, but at the same time, I have the immaturity of a high schooler. So it's hard to play that part when I'm really like just kind of a goofball, I guess, for lack of a better term. But I don't know, like going into this weekend, it's going to be fun. We definitely had a good weekend last weekend. I don't feel like the pressure that a lot of people might think, in the sense that we need to back up last week's effort. We just need to go out there and try to contend for another top 15 finish, because if we can just keep fighting for those top 15s, we're going to have a really good season. It's not going to be attainable every single week, but 18th, 13th, somewhere in there, all sounds good to me. So
kind of going into, when is the last time you raced at Phoenix?
We actually tried to make it last year with the Mike Harmon 74, I think that's what it was, 47. It was an opportunity, just got last minute thing, like, hey, try to make the race, and did not quite have the speed, would be the best way to put it. But I've raced there a lot in Xfinity, and I made my cup debut there as well. So it's a track I'm extremely familiar with, and at least had a chance to make some laps at last year, whereas I haven't been on a mile and a half in 7 years, I think.
Yeah. So how many more races do you plan on doing the rest of the year?
As many as I can, but I think we have about 10 more. Plus or minus a couple, currently scheduled with Alpha Prime. And my goal is to stay with Alpha Prime Racing. Once again, I know we're one race, and I know we're not going to finish 13th every week. We might finish better, might finish worse. But I think it's around that 10 number.
Yeah. So sounds good there. So what else have you been up to? I know that you also have a day job, but it's kind of what you did when you were at Go Fast doing marketing PR. You're back
Yep.
to racing marketing again.
Yeah. No, I mainly being a dad, as we've we popped throughout the interview.
Oh yeah.
Uh, that's it's tough, man. It's being a dad is the greatest thing on earth. It's just you're kind of life's on hold while you're playing dad duty. So doing that mainly, working for Shelby Park Marketing, and working with Sage, Ty Majeski, and some of the guys we have there. Working on my stuff as part of that deal, which is really nice. But just trying to get to the racetrack, playing in my men's league hockey league, and trying to be a good dad above all else. That's it's been a balance.
Yeah, of course, obviously you're a dad to a little baby girl. How's that been go? How is being a dad going? You think?
It's awesome. I'm actually like, I mean, I know you're worried about it too. I'm like, I'm worried about it right now. Just put her upstairs just for the interview, but she's great, man. It's she's 6.5 months old and she's developing a personality, and the poops keep getting bigger and the smiles keep getting bigger. So it's a heck of a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah, and of course, with the job, with of course your wife being a nurse and all that stuff. So you're home a lot taking care of her. What's that kind of been like? Of course, with all that.
Um, it's interesting. She just went from a 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift to 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So now I'm like a little bit more on the morning shift of things, and you wake up and you wake up a lot slower when you're taking care of a baby and you got poop everywhere, and got to worry about all that stuff and getting her fed. It goes from like me just jumping out of bed, throwing clothes on, and getting stuff done to an hour of getting the baby ready. But it's awesome. Obviously, would not trade it for the world. Took her to the race shop last week. She hated it, so I'm really happy about that. She's not going to be a race car driver. That's my nightmare. Um, but she is. I'm hoping I can bring her out to Talladega because I do want her to at least see what we're doing and get used to it. But my nightmare is her strapping into a race car or trying to strap into a race car because we can't afford that.
Nope. So
No.
we'll have to see how that works. How are those?
Yeah.
How do you think the Caps are doing? You got a hockey style. Hey, look at that helmet behind you. You got.
Yeah, we got a bunch of Caps helmets. We got a couple over there.
Now I'm talking about the one next to you.
Yeah, Adam Henrique. By the time this comes out, it'll be announced because I think I'll announce it tonight. But he's a big racing fan. I'm trying to get him to do some stuff with us this year, and he wanted to put a lid together. So we got a helmet together. It's got a caricature and some other guys on the side, and this thing looks great. Noah Ennis at Shell Shock Designs painted this, and came out freaking phenomenal. I am gonna have to put aside the Caps allegiance for at least for one day at Phoenix to wear it, and then if I wear it at all the rest of the year, then cool. But he knocked this thing out of the park. I love it. I hope I get to run it a few more times.
Yeah. You know who would love that is Dean Thompson from the Truck Series. He is a huge Ducks fan.
Really? Well, I'm gonna hide this from him then, because I don't want him to steal it.
Yeah, of course, Ryan is of course a big Washington Capitals fan. So,
Just a little. Just a little.
just a little. Yeah, and yeah, it did it hurt last night? Jeez.
Oh no, I was overtime victory. Backstrom got his 1,000th point. It was a good night, and the dogs get treats every time the Caps score because we have a Budweiser goal horn. That was not a sponsored ad, so I probably shouldn't even drop that name. But no, it like goes off every time they score a goal, and the dogs get a treat. So I've like conditioned them to be the biggest Caps fans in the world. So they had a good night. And I had a good night.
I bet they did. Yeah, they did. Always good stuff there. Ryan Ellis, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Good luck this weekend at Phoenix.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.